Hi guys, it's Monique from earlylearningmom.com. Today I wanted to share with you guys what I am doing to prepare for our evaluation in August. Basically, in the past, I have taken Zakari to Philadelphia to meet with the team at the Institute for the Achievement of Human Potential. Now, since our last visit, the Institute has kind of split into two separate organizations. There's still the Institute in Philadelphia, and then there is also Doman International, which is based in Italy, but they also work in many different countries. And we've decided to transfer our file from the Institutes to Doman International for an assortment of reasons, and I've already done a video on that. I'll link it in the description below. But first, I should mention that part of having an evaluation done with Doman International, the parents have to take a course. The course that I took when they were together was What to Do About Your Brain Injured Child. And now they have the Doman method from Special Needs to Wellness, and that is offered in different places throughout the world. They travel to different locations and offer this course. But a new thing that has come out in the last few months is the Doman method, the online course, which is a fraction of the price. You can learn at your own pace, so they release a week's worth of lectures that you can watch at your own pace. So if your child still naps, you can do that. If they you can watch them in the evening with your spouse. You can even go to a local Starbucks, have a sitter or respite worker at home with your child, and you can be just down the street where you can come home at any time should there be the need to. And it allows for you to take the course without having to put a real financial burden and family burden on your family. Basically, when I went to Philadelphia to take the course, I was gone for 8 days. I had never been gone from little Z. Even, I think I had one overnight away from him when my dad had surgery. But besides that, that was the longest I had been away from him. Most people didn't even know how to take care of him. So for me to give up that control, like, yes, his dad is awesome, but his dad was working. And we had ABA in the home at the time. We had my mother-in-law who took a week off of work. Nobody was used to this schedule. So not to mention we had to pay for the flights, we had to pay for the course, we had to pay for accommodations, we had to pay for a rental car. It was a huge expense. But now Doman International has offered the course online. Families receive a week at a time, and after a week's time they meet with the staff on an online kind of chat video group, and they can ask their questions, they can hear what other families have to ask, there's all sorts of really awesome benefits to this because their families have not been put out as much financially, support-wise. I mean, not every family can pack up and go to Philadelphia or go to Singapore or go to Italy and take this course. They may not have the same village that I have. I've been blessed that I have a village of people. There's a handful of people that I trust little Z with, and I'm blessed in that sense, but a lot of families are not, or their children have such severe medical conditions that leaving them for a week is terrifying because they may not be there when they get home. So to be able to offer families this is exceptional. Like, it's amazing. I would have taken this course years and years and years ago had it been available online. You also have the opportunity that, I know when I was sitting in the course, we had 12 hours of lectures, 5 days, for 5 days in a row. And it was a lot to absorb. You're up early in the morning, you're groggy, you're different time zones. You maybe didn't sleep as well because you're not in your own bed. And then you're sitting in lectures in a freezing cold auditorium, I should add, because apparently cold temperatures are the ideal learning environment. It was cold. And, you know, by 9 o'clock at night, the information was absolutely, it interested me. I wanted to contain it, but I was dozing in and out. You know, I was struggling to keep my eyes open just because I had received so much information. I had been with people that we really connected with, and it was emotionally overloading. So at a certain point in the day, I really feel like I didn't retain the same way that I would have had I been able to space it out. So by this, you get day one worth of lectures, you get a week to go through it. If you didn't quite understand something, you can watch the lecture again. You can revisit it. If you missed what he said, like what he or she, whether it was Melissa or Spencer or Douglas, if you missed what they said, you can rewind them. You can't rewind them in a live lecture. In a live lectures, you have 10-minute breaks, and you have 10 minutes to try to blurb your questions out. You don't really get a lot of time to like think about the questions that you're going to ask because you're so busy listening to all the information that's coming out. So this way you can pause, you can write your notes, you can write down your questions, you have time to think about. You're laying in bed at night and you think of a question and you can write it down, and when you have your kind of time with the staff, the online kind of like question and answer session, you can ask those questions and you can hear what other families have to ask. So I'm kind of a parent ambassador for this program. I've had a chance to sit down and watch the videos as somebody who's taken the live lecture versus the online. And there's definitely pros and cons to both, but I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons in this situation. I mean, I am super close to many of the people that I took the course with, and that sense of community was amazing. And you still get a sense of that when you're in these question and answer sessions. You definitely have to reach out to these people, but I don't think you would have the same community. But at the same time, what good is a community if you can't get there? So if you cannot make it happen and going to Philadelphia, or not Philadelphia, I think they do the course in Miami, or you know, Italy, if I think they go to Russia, if doing that is just not feasible, then definitely doing the Doman Method online course is what could be best for your family. So if you have any questions about this and you want to hear from a point of view of a parent as opposed to a staff member, feel free to leave a comment below and I'd be happy to answer questions. If you decide to take the Doman Method because of this video, be sure to let them know that Monique from Early Learning Mom sent you. It definitely helps Zakari with his programming, and you know, if we get a referral, then we get a small discount on our appointments and lectures. In the future, the lecture series, the extended, will be coming out online as well, and I'm totally excited to take that because I wanted to take lecture series 3, but to get out there, it's just too much for me at this present time. So I'm super excited for that. So anyhow, back to what this video is about. What I have been doing the last month to prepare for our appointment is, one, I gathered all of our records from the IAHP. I had them sent to me, I believe, last year. And I have all of those gathered. I gathered all old lab tests that we took before we went to the institutes and between our last appointment there and our appointment now. I made sure I had those all gathered and transferred them to Doman International, to Emma there, so that they can be put in his file. The next thing I did was I have a little list because otherwise I will ramble even more than I already have been. The next thing I did was I spoke to a local naturopath that we work with here, and I had her run the blood test, I had her run a urine test, I had her run a stool sample. A lot of these tests, I have trouble getting them through our local doctor because we're in Canada and it's government funded and paid for. The doctor has to explain why we're doing these tests regularly, and if The past tests were not, didn't indicate anything. He has a hard time explaining why he's requesting these, so I have a lot of trouble getting that, and I would rather go through a naturopath and pay the fee, which is actually really not that expensive, and have it done that way. And then I can also submit those receipts to our private insurance company and have part of that reimbursed. So that's the route I chose to take. I know a lot of people, especially in the States, they can just go through their doctor because they're already paying out of pocket because it's not a public medical system. So we did that. So that involved 2 trips to the lab because the first trip was pretty traumatic. We got most of the blood samples, but he was just so upset from having waited so long. So we were able, he was dubbed VIP, so the next time we came in we didn't have to wait. We just kind of scooped in at the beginning of the line because it was just going to be a quick blood draw. So we did that. We did 3 days worth of stool samples, which I sent to a lab in the States, and we have recently gotten those results back, and I'm super excited to say that a parasite that he had, a very, very, very tough parasite to get rid of, we were able to get rid of it using ionic foot baths and biocidin, a supplement, so we did that. We also booked a haircut for him so we could do a hair mineral or hair metal test, which hasn't come back yet. I just sent it last week. I'm hoping it'll be back here in the next week or 2. That being said, getting a haircut is such a big process that I almost forgot to collect the sample. I don't know what I would have done if I had walked out of there without the sample, but as they started cutting, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot the little baggie. They got me a bag, and I just sent them a bunch of hair. And so we're waiting for that. The next thing I did was I printed out the forms that Emma from Doman International wanted me to fill out. Now I'm having a little bit of a tricky time filling it out because we are not officially on a program right now. Like I said, we follow a lot of Glenn Doman's methods just naturally in our day, but we are not doing an intense program because we were doing ABA. So I'm waiting to hear back how she wants me to fill out some of that, but the medical stuff and things like that I have filled in already. And finally, the last thing that I have done so far is I had our tutor come and pick up Z yesterday. It was a Saturday, and I had her come pick him up, and she took him to Kid City, which is like a huge climbing, swinging kind of place, kept him busy there for a couple hours, and then took him to the local splash pad. So he was gone for 4 hours, which gave me the time to clean out his room, go through his drawers, go through his brother's drawers, go through a bunch of toys in the basement, and I just started, I think I took 6 garbage bags to the local thrift store, and it's just allowing me to organize. And now for the rest of the month, I am slowly putting through, and I'm decluttering, and I am working on a cleaning and home schedule, because I find that is somewheres where, when we were doing the full program before, you really need to have a solid schedule. And basically, I need a good routine. Like, when we're not running a program, I just, I swoop in, I do dishes, I swoop in, I do laundry, I swoop in, I do this. My husband swoops in and he does, yard work or helps cook or, different things like that. But when we're on a program and I have less free time to do that, it needs to be scheduled. So I need to have a time that I get up, a time that I do X, Y, and Z. I schedule how many loads of laundry I want to get in a day. I have to schedule in, washing, bedding. Just things really, really slipped when we were doing the program before. And I don't want to allow that to happen again. I'm trying to get on top of our homeschool planning. That I have pretty much in order. But I'm just waiting to see what kind of programs are expected and how I can work the 2 in together. So like in the past, we've done science by using homemade books, or history by using homemade books, and different programs. Phys Ed was our physical program with our crawling and our creeping and our hanging from the brachiating bar. So I just, I have to wait till this appointment happens. We also have scheduled the week, so the week of the 12th, we're doing the appointment, and then later in the, afterwards, we have like a mini getaway planned for our family. So basically, it prevents me from jumping right into the program. And I know, like, why wouldn't you want to just jump right in? And that's because I need to make sure that we're going at a good pace. So I need to amend our schedule. I need to have a proper schedule in place where I'm adding things in slowly so I don't become overwhelmed. I've talked about it in past blog posts about burnout and how it is a real thing, and how when I came back from Philadelphia the second time, and they had evaluated Zakari, and I jumped into a program, how I was getting sick because I wasn't taking care of myself. So I need to make sure that I have everything in place, and I need to step back and I need to absorb the information, and instead of jumping right in, I need to look at it and say, okay, how are we going to make this happen? Is this even possible? Will I have to start at it slowly and maybe never get to the max that they want us to get to? But what can I do so I don't burn myself out, I don't burn Z out, and we are able to get the other important things done in life? So that is kind of what's going on in my head and how I prepare. So I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions for me, like I said, I'm going to leave in the description, I'm going to leave the link to Doman International so you can check out the Doman Method online course. If you have any questions about that, you can shoot me a message here. Also, you can find me on Facebook, earlylearningmom.com on Facebook, and you can message me on there, and I'm usually able to get back to you pretty quick and let me know if you have any questions. So thank you for watching, and I plan on keeping you guys posted along this journey. I have actually scheduled our tutor to come 2 hours a night every night after we've had our appointments throughout the week, so that way I can sit back, process, maybe blog about it, and I'd like to do a quick video. I'm hoping every day. I don't want to promise that. I really want to do every day, but I might do a compilation depending on how long the videos are of, you know, days 1 through 5, and kind of put them all together. But if they're longer, I might put it in individual videos. So we'll see how that pans out. But because I'm at home and I'm not abroad, I feel like it is much more doable than it has been in the past. So thank you for watching. Be sure to check out my blog, earlylearningmom.com, and I hope to see you guys soon.